Okay. So here we are on part 2 of our project, ideation and thumbnail sketches. So we're going to take our sketchbooks and draw 3" by 3" squares in a grid, as many as that will fit on the page, whatever page size you're working on. In each square, you're going to sketch using your 2 to 3 letters from your initials to create a thumbnail sketch. So when we talk about thumbnail sketching, what is a thumbnail sketch? A thumbnail sketch is a quickly drawn visual that gets an idea noted down on paper. The goal is for a vast number of varied ideas. It's not about being overly refined or high quality. The experience of a thumbnail sketch is different for everyone, but the common experience should be an array of options which later can be filtered down through evaluation. So it's really about doing this as quickly as you can, getting ideas down and being an idea machine. It's not about, noodling on each individual sketch. So we're going to take our initials from our name. So for me, my initials is Amy, my middle name's Marie, and my last name's Decker. So A-M-D are my 3 letters. A-M-D. And unlike a monogram where you would put your last initial in the middle, we're not doing that. We're making them in the order they are. So for me, it'd be Amy is A, so A, and then my middle name is Marie, so M, and then Decker is my last, so A-M-D. That's the order they're going to be in. So you want to, we're going to be using our 3 letters, and we are going to, don't worry about in our sketching phase about actual typefaces. We're not trying to draw an actual typeface. We're just trying to get an idea. So is it a serif typeface? Is it a sans serif typeface? Is it bold or is it skinny? Is it a thin letter or a fat letter? Is it italic, right? Those kinds of things, but not like, is it Bodoni or is it Jensen? We're not worried about that. We do want to think about is if it's serifed or sans serif. Those are the kind of as far as we go. So you're going to do different sketches exploring different typefaces and configurations. This is the time to try out ideas. If you sense you're sketching pictures, though, and not drawing letter forms, that means you need to pull back. It can't be pictures. It has to still be letter forms. And I've asked you to pull image reference aside because I want you to get inspired, but we're not actually going to draw a tree, for example. We might get inspired by a tree and maybe think about making a crossbar feel like a branch, but we're not drawing a tree. Okay, so that's what I want you to think about. I'm going to give you a list of typefaces that you are going to be sticking to, and those are for inspiration. We're not, again, sketching typefaces right now. We're just sketching ideas. So the key things, though, you have to remember, and I have put them in bold right here, no images, no lines, no shapes, just type. We're going to work only in black and white, no grays at this stage. And it is really about the ideas. I'm going to pause here for a second. Does anyone have any question about what I just said, about what we're doing with sketching? Because this is different. You probably have never sketched letters before. So I realize I'm going to show you some examples. I have some examples over here. Let me get them. Where are my examples? Let's see. Where are they? Why is it not showing up? Oh, here they are. Okay. I think I'm in. Where are they? I just put them. Oh my gosh, I had just put them together before class and now I don't see, did I put them in the wrong spot? Thought I put them in our folder. What did I do with them? Nope. All right, I'll come back to them. I'll come back. I know I put them, did I put them on the desk? Maybe I put them in the desktop. No. No, maybe I put it in the wrong folder. Okay, I don't know what I did with them. Oh, okay, we'll come back to it. Oh, I'm bummed. I don't know where they went. Let me just see if they're still in the downloads folder. Okay, here's one of the examples. So, this student is 3 letters are M, A, and J, and you can kind of start seeing how they're just sketching. And I'm going to walk you through the different ways we're going to sketch, but just their initials. So you can see there's not a specific typeface here; they're just sketching. Okay. All right. So let me think. Who else? I got to think of the names I had. Okay, I can't find them. I will come back to them. They're here somewhere. I put them in a folder and I don't know where they are. Let me keep going with our, this move. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's talk about how we're going to do this. We're going to do 36 letter marks, and these are hand-drawn sketches only, no using the computer. We're going to develop these initial solutions using the following 3 methodologies, and we're going to label each method on your sketchbook page. So method 1 is mix. Using the list of typefaces, styles provided, create at least 12 different approaches using the fonts or font families of your choosing. You can utilize 2 or 3 different fonts or different styles to create the 3-letter forms. Please note that you may print sample sheets of the typefaces to use as reference to draw from, if you like. You can have them open on your computer as well. So let's talk about what mix is. Mix, I think I'm going to just go on to mural because I know I have them there. Okay, so here is some of the examples of taking a grid on your sketchbook and putting them in. We're going to talk about 3 different methodologies. So mix is the first one, and that's where you're taking and mixing different types of typefaces and scale and putting them together. So looking at the letter forms, how am I mixing them together? How am I combining different typefaces together? And notice how these are, they're not super fancy drawn. They're pretty simple. But they're easy to read and understand. So here's a good example of mixing, taking 3 different letters, all lowercase. Looking at 3 different letters here, flipping them. You can do things like flipping them backwards, changing scale, letting them get bigger, smaller, that kind of thing. Ideally, you want to work with 3. And even those, the 2 gets to be not as strong as 3. You definitely are going to have a much more unique look to have 3. So I'd like you to use 3. And if you're a person that, for example, doesn't have 3, we can talk about either adding another letter from your name into it, or can make the argument to do only 2 if you're feeling strongly about it. But I think you'll find that 3 is going to give you a much more unique look. Let me give you another one. This is MJ's. So we're going to be looking at 3 different ones. Mix is mixing different letters. And so the idea is like you could mix a script letter with a sans serif. So here's your script A, and she has a sans serif M and J. And here she's mixing script J and kind of combining script and regular M to create an A as part of the M. Here she's combining the M and the J, and I think this is starting to become an A. It's part of the triangle of the M. Here the A is floating between the J and the M. Get the idea. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the assignment. So we have mix. So again, I'm going to talk about the typefaces. I'm going to do that in just a minute. But the thing is to find 2 or 3 different fonts and mix them together. So you can mix an italic with a bold and a regular with a bold, or you can do a serif with a sans serif and those kinds of things. You can mix them up. The second one is crop. The second method is crop. Using the principles of figure ground, crop letter form select from the typefaces provided. Cropping means cropping a piece of the letter off. So for example, if you have a T, maybe you crop part of the T off and the crossbar of the T off, or one is shorter than the other, like you adjust the size, or maybe it's an A and you crop off part of the leg of the A, or you take the crossbar out of the A. There's different things you can do to crop parts of letters off. They still have to read like the letter they're intended to be, but you want to be able to manipulate them, to make them custom, to make them yours. And then and I'm going to show you some more examples. The third is morph. Morph is selecting individual parts of the letter form to create a portion of the next letter. Kind of like I was just telling you about ligatures. Morph is essentially creating your own ligatures, or making a round letter more square, changing out the characteristics of the letter, customizing it. Try using part of one letter to create a portion of the next letter, like we saw in the ligatures, but go beyond that. You can use different styles in the same font family, but only use one typeface. So you want to create your logo with the same typeface when you're morphing, but not at a lot of different ones, 12 different approaches. So the things I want you to think about is, as you evaluate each stage of exploration, please keep in mind, how are each letter of your letters constructed and designed? Deconstruct them, take them apart. What characteristics are the same and what traits are different? So if you have, like for me, I have an A, an M, and a D. So I have two very angle letters. A and M are very angles, lots of angles. And then my D is a very curve. It's got a big curve in it. So how do I use that contrast of these very angular letters from the very curvy letter of the D? How do I work with that? How do I highlight that? So working tightly within the constraints provided, how much can you customize your letter forms to make up that letter mark? And how far can you push legibility? Here's where I want you to be experimental and brave. I want you to push the boundaries. I want to see how far we can go and still read the letter form, but make it challenging, like really push it. How far can we go with this? How extreme can we get? Be brave. Try lots of things. So we're going to be doing 12 sets of each method. That's 36. And we're going to post them to our individual process mural board. And we're going to make sure we label each method on our process board and have them ready for our next class, which will be Tuesday. So I have some examples. Do I have them in here yet? No, I think they're in the folder. So let me go out of this and onto our folder. Sorry, I went all the way out. So I'm going to go in the assignment folder. So here, if you scroll down, you'll see I have this document called Mix, Morph, and Crop Examples. I'm going to click on that. And these are examples from past classes. And so here you can see, and I want you to tell me if you can see the methods we just talked about. Who can tell me? I'll do half because I don't want them to get so small. We'll start with this group. Who can tell me which method is using crop? Let me get this. Just put your hand up and I can see. Raul.
SJD.
SJD?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's using crop. What else is using crop? Who else can tell me? Rachel.
Oh, somebody said it in chat already.
Oh, wait.
I was going to say MKE.
Hold on, I can't see the chat. Oh, there it is. Okay, MKE. Yes, thank you. MKE, the stem is cropped out. HKG, also using crop. What else? There's more.
I guess HNL, they just cut off the bottom.
That's right, HNL, cropped off the bottom. Exactly. All right, there's still one more. So there's two MKE. So actually this MKE down here is also using crop. Okay, so which one now is using mix? So I'm going to move to a new group. Sorry, let me move to a new group. Which one is using mix? Well, JNU is not using mix. Those are all from the same family. There's nothing mixing there. There's no difference. LHR is absolutely using mix. Yes, LHR is using mix. MKE, nope, it's the same typeface, but there's a different method it's using more significantly. I think the most, I think the number one here is the LHR in this group. Okay, and then down here, I'm going to say which one is using, actually, let's go to this grouping. Which one of these are using morph? Who can tell me which one's using morph? Morph is where we can make something that was square, round, or something that's round, more square. PBL, absolutely. PBL is using morph. What else is using morph? There's another one. Good eye. MKE is using morph. Yeah, they rounded off the edges and they added the custom letter form. Any more? There's one more. ICN. That's right, Sandra. ICN is they took and rounded and squared off edges. You can see that in the eye and the end up the top and the legs of the end. So yeah. So this document is there for you to look at and see, give you some examples. Great, you guys are getting it. Zoom in. And okay, and then lastly, at the very bottom is the fonts that were approved. So the typeface is, the serif typefaces we're going to use are Bodoni, URW, Garamond Premier, Adobe Jensen, Kepler, and Utopia. Now today you learned all about Bodoni, Adobe, Garamond Premier, Adobe Jensen, right? These three you learned about in our lecture, and then Kepler and Utopia are two more. We're also going to be able to use Futura, which you learned about, PT Sans, ATF Franklin Gothic, Gill Sans Nova, and Acumen, okay? These are the only typeface when we get into the computer we're going to use. You can look at these and reference them so you can get familiar and kind of think about them in your sketching process. I don't want you to think you have to sketch these by any means perfectly, but I'm going to show you how to go into Adobe fonts and look at them. Actually, I'm going to start from the beginning and show you. I'm not going to show you the one I already have open. So we're going to go ahead and go into our Adobe Cloud. At the very top of your bar at the top of your screen, there's this little Creative Cloud icon. When you click on it, this is the Adobe Creative Cloud. When you click the little F, little italic F, it's fonts. You click on that and it takes you to Adobe Fonts. And actually, let me close that to make sure to walk you through it again. It can go to apps. If you're in the apps here, you can go down here to manage fonts, or you can go to the F at the top. Either way, both get you to this screen. Once you're here, Rachel, yep, I see you have your hand raised.
Oh, just saying for people who don't have a Mac, because I do not, you would just have to go to the program bar on the bottom and search either Creative Cloud or Adobe and it should come up.
Thank you. I didn't know that. I assumed the cloud went up to the PCs too. So it doesn't show up at the top for you guys?
There's nothing at the top. It might show up at the bottom, but
Thank you.
I don't know the symbol. But yeah, it does not do, there is no top bar on a PC.
Got it. So PC users, go to the bottom and search fonts, Adobe Creative Cloud. So once you're in the Adobe Creative Cloud, you can choose your fonts. And then you want to click over here in the far right where it says Browse More Fonts. And when you click on Browse More Fonts, you come to the browser. So now I'm on the browser again. I'm back on Chrome. So I'm searching fonts. And so I've given you a list of fonts. So I'm going to go back to our list. And so I have Bodoni. You can just copy and paste. So I have Bodoni, URW, and these are right from Adobe. So I'm using the exact names of the fonts from Adobe, and I can just click in the search bar, paste it, and then it's going to come up. And so here's Bodoni. And once I'm here, this will say, mine says remove because I already have it in my system. But right here will be a button that says add. And you can add the whole family or individuals. So let's just talk about terminology again. Typefaces are, the name of the typeface is Bodoni. Bodoni is the typeface. The fonts are each one of these. So there is Bodoni Medium. Bodoni Medium Oblique is a font. Bodoni Bold is a font. Bodoni Bodoni bold oblique is a font. These are all of the fonts for the typeface Bodoni. So in other words, think of it as like your last name. You know, for me, I'm a Decker. So my whole family is a Decker. But there's me, there's my son, there's my mother, you know, there's all these people in my family, right? So they all are the fonts. The typeface is the last name. The fonts are all the relatives, okay? So that's the way you can think about it. So the typeface is Bodoni, and the fonts are each one of these guys. Yep, Michaela.
How much are we allowed to personalize this? Because I've been kind of like sketching the whole time. And I mean, like, obviously it's fine if I have to like redo stuff, but like, I was kind of excited about some of my more like illustrative approaches.
Well,
Which I guess,
again,
but
well, again, you're going to be able to, like we talked about, you're going to be able to manipulate the typefaces. We're going to start with existing typefaces, and then we're going to manipulate them using those methods. And remember, like if you have something that's very italic, that we can choose a typeface that has more of a calligraphic italic version. Okay. So keep going, keep designing. And what you can do, one quick thing I want to show you. So rather than seeing the whole typeface, I'm going to just put my initials in. I'm going to select the sample text and make it my initials. So now I can see, and I can make the scale really big. So here's my initials, and now I can see my 3 letters in this typeface. Isn't that great? So you can see the whole thing real easily right here. And even if you wanted to, you could even do just little screen grabs of it for yourself for sketching without even having to make your whole sheet. You could just grab it like this, make a screen grab of it. Here's my screen grab, right? And then I can take this, and I'm going to put it over here on the side, and I can put that on my mural board if I want. So if I go over to mural, let me go to a new mural. I can go over here to murals. Let's sign in real quick. And type. Let's get in to my board. Okay, here's my board. I can bring that screen grab I just brought over here and put it in my type studies. Okay, so there's my Bodoni. So now I can go back and say, okay, I got my Bodoni. I'm going to now put in, what's my next one? Let's do a sans serif. Let's grab Gill Sans Nova. Go on to onto here, go up to the, plug in the font I want. There it is. So here's Gill Sans Nova. And same thing, I can go here and put my initials in, play with the scale, and see all the variations of Gill Sans Nova. Yeah, go ahead, Raul.
The screen grab, how you do that?
Okay, so it's different if you're on a Mac or PC. You're on a Mac though, I remember you telling me, I think, right?
Yes, it's a PC.
It's PC.
It's
So
PC operating system.
Okay,
It's a
so
PC operating system on a Mac. I'm sorry.
okay, got it. So I think what you're going to want to use is, I think it's on the PC, you guys use Snap Click or Clip Snap? Is it called Clip Snap or Snip Clap?
Snipping tools?
Yeah, clipping tools to clip your screen grab.
Oh, I guess it's, yeah, like, oh,
Snip
I
shoot,
used something
shot,
different.
snip shot.
Use something different.
So there is, it's built into a lot of the PCs. I think it's called like Clip Pick. Maybe it's Clip Pick or something of that nature. And it's a screen capture that's built into the PC system, to the Microsoft system. I just searched snipping tools, snapping tool, snapping or snipping? I thought it was referred to as snipping. Okay, Candy wrote, press the Windows key and print screen together. The screen will briefly dim to indicate that the screenshot is being taken. Or you can do a print screen. I like the clipping tool because then it lets you clip just part of the screen, not the whole. It doesn't just take the whole screen. So like when I do it on a Mac, for those of us who are on a Mac, you're going to do Command Shift. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Get me back to, where was I? There we go. Command Shift and 4. Holding all 3 down together gives me this little like crosshairs. And then it lets me select the area that I want to take a picture of. So I'm selecting the area. So it's Command Shift and the number 4. And then I get my little image. But yeah, I would just do a quick little Google on it for your particular operating system. But I wonder if you're on a Mac, even though your operating system is different, if it will let you do Command Shift 4. Just try it since you're on a Mac. Hold the Command Shift and 4 down.
I just came back. Why are we taking screenshots?
Oh, if you want to take a look at to reference this while you're sketching, rather than downloading everything and having to do it your own little, you can, if you see something you like, you can just screenshot it and then use that as reference while you're sketching.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So is there any questions on how do we use Adobe Font and how we, load the fonts and get them and look at them and make choices and then you download them to your system? Are we all golden on that?
Can you repeat how we can add those to our Adobe apps, please?
Yes. So let's go back to, let's see if there's one I don't have. I think I have them all. I don't think I have a Franklin Gothic. Let's see. Okay, so I'm choosing it. I'm loading it in. Ah, here it is. This one I don't have. I didn't think I did. So on the right, you see this, it says add family, this black button. All you do is add the family. And I would add the whole family. And then it says fonts are added to Adobe apps. That's it. It's automatically in your app.
Okay, nice. So we need to add the list of typefaces, right?
Right. And add the list of typefaces so that you have them all to work with once we get into digital for next week.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And the only reason I was bringing up the screen grab was just to make it easier for when you're sketching. You know what I mean? Or not Amy, AMD. So this kind of idea with your initials is just to kind of make it down and dirty and kind of fast, just to kind of say, okay, I want to see this, whatever typeface I'm interested in, what that looks like. And I want to just have a reference of it when I'm sketching so I can kind of think about the choices I have. And that's why I'm doing that. That's just, again, a reference. Much like we did the image reference, this is just type references. So this is kind of just looking at the type study. Okay. Any other questions on using Adobe fonts? The 3 types of methods we're going to do: mix, morph, and crop for our sketches. And then we're going to lastly use, once we've done our sketches, the last step of that process, and I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, is we're going to take our phones and use a scanning app. So we're going to use a scanning app to scan the sketches because we're sketching on paper. You want to sketch with dark, either a dark pencil or a marker or a pen, something we can see. Now, if you have an iPhone, this is another Apple product, but I'm going to give you 2 options. If you're on an iPhone, you have one already built into your phone. It's in the Notes app. If you go on the Notes app, there's a little camera at the bottom, and you can choose Scan Documents. If you choose Scan Documents, you hold it over your drawing, make sure you're in a well-lit area so it's well-lit. You can scan the document and then email it to yourself. And that'll be, or air share it if you're on a Mac. And that'll be how you scan your documents if you're on an iPhone. Now, if you're on an Android, there's so many, Adobe Scan is available for the Android, and there's so many other free scanning apps. Just all I ask is do not use your your camera, your actual camera. It doesn't work. So definitely look at a scanning app. If you're on an Android, look at Adobe Scan. Honestly, it's part of our Adobe family. It's free. Or any other scanning app. If there's one you already use, great. And if you're on the Mac, you can just, if you're on an iPhone, just use the Notes app. It's already built in. You can also use the Adobe Scan on your iPhone too. You don't have to use the Note app. It's just letting you know that there is one there already. For snipping, select the start button, enter snippet tool. So yeah, snipping tool, that's what I thought it was called. The snipping tool, then select the snipping tool from the results. Okay, good. Thank you, Candy. You guys are awesome. I love that you guys are on it, helping each other. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys are rocking, rock stars. I love it. Such a good group. If you're using the pencil, avoid using flash when scanning. That's a good point. Try a well-lit, try it honestly with daylight during the day, like near a window or outside, so that you get some good normal light versus the flash, or don't avoid doing it at night when you have to use incandescent light. It just does better during the day. So try to do your scanning during the day. That's all I have for today. Any other questions before we wrap it up? We don't have class on Monday. Anyone. So just remember you have off on Monday. Tuesday we'll be meeting as normal time. And you want to have all of your scans all the way up on your sketches area on Mural. So for Tuesday, you want to have your 36 sketches, the 3 methods, 12 of each, labeled and up on your sketches on Mural. You want to have your mood board done on Mural, and of course your image reference. Now that image reference is there to help you kind of start thinking about the messaging you want this to have, right? So that's what that image reference is. That's what the mood board is. So do the mood board and image reference first, and then move into the sketching, because you want to think, is this a big, bold statement I'm making, or is it more flowy and organic? I mean, those mood board elements are going to help you understand those choices of what you're making. So those are things to think about. And then lastly, we have a discussion post that's due on Sunday, a reading with discussion post up on the discussion post tab. So you have week 2's reading on the discussion post tab. We have our sketching, our mood board. We'll put everything on Mural. So when we start class, we don't have time for you to be scanning and uploading at the beginning of class. So we want to make sure we have class time to get things done. So all of that should be up and ready to show at the beginning of class. Okay. All right, Rachel, I see your hands up.
I went to the discussion tab in Blackboard, and it said there's no items found.
Oh, let me see. Maybe I didn't turn it on. Thank you for telling me. Let me figure out what's happening. Let me go. I gotta unzoom. I'm too zoomed in. It's currently unavailable. Let me edit that. Thank you for telling me. I forgot to turn it on this morning. Isn't it showing me? Yes, available. Okay, it's up and running. And the reading this week, just to give you a little, it's about the design process and brainstorming and sketching. So the readings, when I give you a reading, it's about exactly what we're doing. It's to help you do your homework. So I recommend doing the reading even before you get into the sketching. That's why it's also due a little earlier. So the reading is about brainstorming ideas and sketching to help you understand the process and learn the process. So those are the 2 readings this week. They're very short and sweet. Remember to write. Your writing doesn't have to be terribly long. It's just give us a understanding of how you see yourself using this information as you move into your assignment. And then give feedback to 2 classmates, okay, to get the full points.
So clarification, just because I've not used Blackboard, you go to discussion tab, you click on the week, whatever the prompt is, and then it says there's
Yes.
currently 0 threads, and then you create a thread, and
Yes.
then you answer the prompt, and then you comment on 2 other people's prompt.
That's right. That's right. And you won't see anyone else's prompt until you post your own. So it'll say there's 0 threads. It's only because you haven't posted. Once you post, the other threads will become available to you. Good. Thank you. Good. Thank you. That's a good question. And you're right. This is new. So if anyone else has anything that's
One more
not
question.
sure how to get to it. Yeah.
The book, the ebook,
Yes.
where do we get that from?
That is also on Blackboard, and it is under resources, under course content. It's so you have assignments, discussions, it's down under resources, and then the last part of that course content section is ebook for class. Do you see it's under under resource, like there's resources, and then the next tab is ebooks for class. It's not in the resources, it's the next tab under resources.
Okay.
Do you see it?
I see it. I just don't see any more. I don't see anything else. Can you see my screen? Are they able to log into my screen?
Yeah, go ahead and you can show me your screen. Let me make sure I give you access to do that. Give me 1 second. Anyone else have any other questions? Because I'm gonna let you go. If you have any other questions, you're welcome to go. Everyone understands what we're doing. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great holiday weekend. Enjoy your Monday. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, thank you.
Sandra, if you hang, I see you have a question for me. I will answer that too.
I'll wait. Don't worry.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, Raul, you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
That's okay.
How do I do that?
At the bottom of the Zoom, there's a green button with like a square with a little arrow pointing straight up. You should click on that. Do you see that?
There we go.
There you go.
So I'm right here.